they're not just grooming your children in their sexual and gender ideology. They're also using CRT to turn them into good little communists.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board and community.
Good evening.
I just want to go on record and state that I was wrong. Because I, unlike some people, can admit when I was wrong. At the last meeting, I stated about your new policy that it had to be a parent of a child in that school to fill out the form to challenge the books. That is absolutely untrue. Your policy, and I quote, "Any district parent, employee, or student of the school district complainant may express an informal concern or formal request for reconsideration of a library resource." So there it is. Nowhere does it say you have to have a child at that school. So in reading that, we filled out forms. Had someone take them to the high school because they could do it because some of us have to work during the day. This particular parent did not. Took them to Chippewa Valley High School. Dropped them off, which they accepted. On her way walking out, they chased her down and said, "We can't accept these. This person doesn't have a child that goes to this school." Gave them back to her. Okay, not to make a stink, we found someone that had a child at that school, had the forms all redone, took them into the school, and you know what they told her then? "We can't accept these. They have to go to the superintendent, the district administrator." When it says right here, and I quote, "The complainant will return the completed Chippewa Valley Schools request for reconsideration of school library resources form to the building principal." So, you redo the whole policy, bring it back out in October and re-release it, expect us to jump through all these hoops, which we do, and then you want to change the rules partway through the game. Not acceptable. Your people don't even know their policy. Might I remind you, you 7 people work for us. That man works for you. You hire and fire that man right there. He does not dictate to you what you do. You dictate to him what you want him to do. That is how this procedure works. And you are our voice. You are to be the voice of we the people and our students.
First tier of government.
And you are failing miserably. And I am sorry for yelling, but I am just at wit's end. What do you want us to do? How many hoops do we have to jump through to take porno out of the school? What do you want? What do you want? Tell me, and I'll do it.
Okay,
What do you want me to do? Tell me and I'll do it. But you can't change the rules partway through the game.
Okay, we hear you. You're all
Do you?
Yes.
Because we've been screaming for months.
Put a motion in that. Put a motion.
You're all set? Thank you.
You just had an opportunity to act and you failed. You failed. All of you failed.
You know you're in a cult if 1. You believe you are what your imagination says you are. Delusional, characterized by or holding false beliefs or judgments about external reality that are held despite incontrovertible evidence to the contrary, typically as a symptom of a mental condition. You know you're in a cult if 6. You believe reality isn't real. Delusional, characterized by or holding false beliefs or judgments about external reality that are held despite incontrovertible evidence to the contrary, typically as a symptom of a mental condition. You know you're in a cult if 10. thanks to Jamie Lee Curtis, who didn't know how many Oscars she'd won. Them can't count. You know you're in a cult if 11. You will cry in protest to take a real black woman off a syrup bottle and a Quaker off a box of oats named Quaker Oats, only to put a fake white woman on a beer can. All while saying, "I can't believe they're so upset over a beer can." Bud Light parent Anheuser-Busch's stock has lost $27 billion over Dylan Mulvaney. You know you're in a cult if 13. If you get triggered because someone doesn't think you're special because you were born into one of the CRT-approved victim groups, they believe deeds and personal responsibility warrant pride. You know you're in a cult if 18. Lost your shit over To Kill a Mockingbird and Huckleberry Finn but are screaming about banning books with gay sex and masturbation in school libraries. You know you're in a cult if 20. Will lie even with irrefutable evidence. You know you're in a cult if 21. Being so filled with hate, you will groom, mutilate, and murder your own children, all while calling your opposition fascists. You know you're in a cult if 22. Believes that out of 7 billion people on the planet, white, straight, males are somehow oppressing everyone else. You know you're in a cult if 23. Will lose your shit when someone points out that you're not oppressed, you're just stupid. You know you're in a cult if 25. Will refer to a biology book as right-wing propaganda. You know you're in a cult if 26. Will lose your shit if someone actually uses proper English instead of your made-up pronouns. You know you're in a cult if 32. Are the same people who say you can't indoctrinate kids to be gay with a book or a drag show, but continually accuse the church of doing that very thing. Although religion isn't taught in schools, and you're not forced to go to church. You know you're in a cult if 33. When someone is simply talking science and common sense, you will try to bring religion into it. Well, you know the church. Well then, don't go to church. It's not against the law. Not going to school is. You know you're in a cult if 34. Will use unrelated behavior to justify their sick, grooming behavior. You know you're in a cult if 39. Will lose your shit when someone says you're in a woke cult, and to prove you're not, you do the things on this list over and over and over. You know you're in a cult if 40. Will accuse your opposition of that which you are guilty. You know you're in a cult if 46. Consider chemically castrating a pedophile horrible and inhumane, but chemically castrating a child just dandy.